Hey guys, Mr. Backerberg here. In this video, we're going to look at multiplying polynomials. As we're looking at doing our multiplying this time, we're going to be multiplying two binomials together. And we're going to look at two different methods of doing this. And the first method that we're going to use is called the FOIL method. And each one of these letters in here stands for something. This is an acronym. And the F in FOIL stands for first. So that means that we're going to multiply the first things together in our binomials. So in the first binomial, the first thing is the 2x, and in the second binomial, the first thing is the 4x. We're going to multiply those together. So 2 times 4 is 8, and if I take x times x, that's going to give me x squared. The O in FOIL stands for the outside. So the outside things, the 2x is on the outside, and the 3 is on the outside. So if I multiply those together, 2x times 3, well, 2 times 3 is 6, and I just keep the x attached to that, so I get 6x. The I stands for the inside, so the things on the inside are the 1 and the 4x. Well, if I take 1 times 4x, that's just going to give me 4x. And then the L stands for the last things. So the last thing in the first binomial is the 1, and the last thing in the second binomial is the 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. Now we're not quite done with this, because as I look at this, we have a couple of like terms in the middle that we're going to be able to add together. I don't see anything to combine with the 8x squared, so I'm just going to leave that as 8x squared. But if I take 6x and I add 4x to that, I'm going to get 10x. And then I also don't have anything to combine with this 3. So our final answer on this one is 8x squared plus 10x plus 3. Now we're going to do a few more examples. The FOIL method is really just the distributive property. We're just applying it to binomials. And we just call it FOIL to remind us to do all of the distribution parts. So the F, again, means multiply the first things together. So in each binomial, we take the first things, so x times x, that gives me x squared. Then I look at the outside things. O means outside. So on the outside, I have the x and the 3. Well, 3 times x is going to give me 3x. The I means the inside things. So we have 1 and x on the inside. So 1 times x is just going to give me 1x. And then the L means the last things. So I have the 1 and the 3 as the last pieces in each binomial. So 1 times 3 is 3. Now, once again, as I look at this, I do notice a couple of like terms in the middle that we're going to be able to add together. I don't see anything to combine with the x squared, so that's just going to stay as x squared. But if I take 3x and I add one more x to that, that's going to give me 4x, and then I still have this plus 3 on the back end. So for our final answer on this one, we get x squared plus 4x plus 3. Taking a look at this one, we've got 4x minus 5, and we're multiplying by x minus 2. Again, I'm going to write out the FOIL just so I remember to do all of the individual pieces. So the F, I multiply the first things together. So I've got the 4x and the x as the first things. Well, in front of this second x, there's really a 1. So if I take 4 times 1, that's going to give me 4. But then x times x gives me x squared. The O means I'm going to do the outside things. So if I take 4x and multiply by negative 2, well, negative 2 times 4 is negative 8, but I need to keep that x attached to it. Then the I means the inside things. So I've got negative 5 and 1x. Well, negative 5 times 1 is negative 5, and I need to keep the x attached to that. And then the last things, I've got the negative 5 and the negative 2. Negative 5 times negative 2 is positive 10. And as I look at this one, we've got some like terms in the middle to put together. I don't see anything to combine with the 4x squared, so that's going to stay as 4x squared. Negative 8x minus 5x is going to give me negative 13x. And then I still have this plus 10 on the back end. So that's going to be our final answer this time. Now I'm going to show you another method that can be used to multiply binomials together, and this one's called the area model, or some people call this one the box model. So here we're going to take x plus 3 and multiply it by x plus 5, but we're not going to do FOIL like we just did. Okay, we're going to do something called this box method. So I draw in a box, and I'm dealing with binomials. So across the top, let's just put one of the binomials. Let's put the x plus the 3. And along the side, I'm going to put the other binomial, the x plus the 5. Now, where we have our operational symbol happening, so across the top we have this x plus 3, I'm going to put a line down from the plus. And on the left-hand side, where we have that plus happening, I'm going to put a line across from there. And what that really creates is all of these individual boxes, and we're going to kind of find the area of each box. So when we're finding the area of each rectangle, we're going to take the length times the width. Now we're going to kind of look at the intersections of these different binomials that we wrote on here, and we're multiplying, so we want to make sure that we're multiplying things together. So if I look at where this x and this x intersect, if I multiply those together, x times x is x squared. And then if I take this x and look at where it intersects the 3, well, 3 times x is going to give me 3x. So I did that x, so I'm going to move down to the 5. If I look at where the 5 and the x intersect, 5 times x is 5x. And then if I look at where the 5 and the 3 intersect, 5 times 3 is 15. Now again, we're going to look for like terms, just like we did when we were foiling. We're going to look for those like terms that we can combine. I don't see anything to combine with the x squared, so it's going to stay as x squared. But in the middle, I see that we have this 3x and this 5x. They're both positive, so we're going to add them together. And when we do that, we're going to get 8x. And then down in the bottom right-hand corner, I see that we have a positive 15. So I'm going to put a plus 15 on the back end. So for our final answer, we get x squared plus 8x plus 15. Couple more examples here. So in this next one, we're going to take x plus 3 and multiply it by 2x plus 3. And we're going to do that box method again. So I'm going to draw in my box here. And across the top, let's just put this first binomial, x plus 3. And along the side, let's put our other one. So we've got 2x plus 3. And I'm going to separate out my boxes at those operational symbols. And once again, we're just kind of looking at the intersections of our boxes, finding the area of each individual box, and then we'll add together any like terms that we end up with. So 2x and x, if I multiply those together, well, this is really a 1x. So 2x times 1x, 2 times 1 is 2, x times x is x squared. Then if I take 2x times 3, well, 2 times 3 is 6, but I need to keep the x attached to that. 3 times 1x, well, 3 times 1 is 3, but I need to keep the x attached to that. And then last 3 times this 3 is going to give me 9. Now I'm looking for like terms. I don't see any like terms to combine with the 2x squared, so that's going to stay as 2x squared. In the middle here, I see 3x and 6x. They're both positive, so we're going to add those together, so that gives me 9x. And then lastly, I have a positive 9, so plus 9 on the back end. So we get 2x squared plus 9x plus 9. Now for our last one here, we've got 4x minus 1, and we're multiplying by x plus 5. I'm going to draw in my box. Across the top, I'm going to put the 4x minus 1, and then down the side, I'm going to put the x plus 5. Separate out your individual boxes. Now this x on the left-hand side is really a 1x. So if I take 1x times 4x, 1 times 4 is 4, x times x is x squared. Then if I take the 1x times the negative 1, well, 1 times negative 1 is negative 1, and I need to keep the x attached to that. 5 times 4x, 5 times 4 is 20, but I keep the x attached to that. And then 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. Now I'm looking for like terms again. I don't see any like terms to combine with the 4x squared, so that's just going to stay as 4x squared. Here in the middle, we've got 20x and negative 1x. Well, 20x minus 1x is going to give me plus 19x. And then on the end, we have that minus 5. So we get 4x squared plus 19x minus 5 as our final answer on this one. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching.